So our holding tank in the back rack is full. We've got a second holding tank. So Jay's gonna come and turn the tractor around. And then we're gonna put the other holding tank that's in the garage, so it's cool storage, on a pallet, which will help us if when we need to move it out. So we figured we'd come down and check these before the storm comes in about half an hour. And we had picked these up yesterday afternoon. The video I posted right before this, and the buckets were overflowing and still running good. You can see right here, it's up to here, up to about here right on this one. Jay's following me down in the tractor. And this one is about halfway. It's getting a little muddy and slippery. We're supposed to get 3 inches of snow this afternoon. Oh man, that one's like 3/4 full, as well as the one down there. I'm glad we checked them this morning. That was about 4 gallons we got off of this bucket, this tree. It's a pretty big double maple. We tried to only tap sugar maples. You can tap others types of maples, but sugar content is higher on a sugar maple. So that means the sap boiling down is better. So sugar maple averages about 40 gallons of sap to 1 gallon of syrup. This bucket looks probably 3 3/4 gallon maybe. These leaves and mud are pretty slippery. We're kind of lucky. We haven't had any squirrels chewing on this line. It's hanging really low. That is a concern when you're doing line. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Jay, do it. Yeah, it's pretty full. Yeah, I was thinking 3 1/2, 3 3/4 maybe. This is the bucket. We had the blue buckets on this tree just on 2 taps. My dad was down helping. We switched them over to line because the way the bank is, I couldn't actually get up and reach the bucket when they were full and lift them. As some of you know, I had my hip replaced. I'm pretty good at moving around, but not perfect. All right, on to the next bucket. The blue little ones are about a 3-gallon bucket. Just to show you guys. It's about, I think it's like 9:30. I don't even really know what time it is on Saturday morning. And the sap is really running still. It stayed above freezing last night. And I think it was supposed to go down a little bit, but not as much. But it's doing pretty good. This oak tree back here actually had chicken on the wood on it. The whole crevice here, like 2 years ago, it was huge. Biggest cluster thing I've ever seen of it. Myself, I've seen pictures of them bigger, but it's kind of fun. And this tank is already full. Well, we ran the evaporator yesterday from about 2 p.m. to 7-ish, maybe, and then shut it down, added a bunch of sap to help cool it down over the few hours after we shut it down. So that still has sap going, or not going, but sap. This bucket doesn't have as much, but this tree doesn't seem to produce as much. It's actually one of the smaller trees we have tapped this year. It's Sunday morning. This morning it was much colder than, or I felt like it was much colder than what the Weather Channel had said. It was about 12 degrees Fahrenheit when I woke up. It's about 20 now. So Jay got this going a little while ago. We're just working up to our boil for the morning. A little different than the weather on Friday. The nice part is the greenhouse is about 65 right now. As the snow's falling off the roof and the sun's hitting it, it's warming up really fast. So we'll keep feeding the fire every 10-15 minutes or so, and hopefully we'll get through a majority of this tank over here, so that I have a spot to fill it up. Weather tomorrow is supposed to be in the high 50s. I think it's like gonna be going down into the high 20s at night this week, and high 50s and some 60s. So we're gonna have 3 or 4 days of really strong sap, I think, looking at the forecast. But I'm gonna go hang out in the hoop house for a little bit, and I'll continue to update on status. It's about 1:40 on Sunday afternoon. Outdoor temps about mid-20s, low 20s, I think. Boiling's going really well. Just refilled the warming tank here. I'm adding wood every 10 to 12 minutes. And we've got the warming tank feed going pretty good here as the steam condensation comes off here. We want to make sure that we're adding water so that the level stays pretty even, actually. So by looking at the height here within this section of the outshoot, I'm judging if I need to turn this up. So I just actually turned it up some. And then from the wood standpoint, I just added some more, but we're keeping it pretty full and going really strong. And the steam smells delicious. So quick check on the status of where we're at. Let's see. It's about out here, it's about down to right around here, this level here. So a little more than halfway, maybe, or about halfway. It was all the way to the top. I'm gonna try to keep going. I think it's like 3:15 or so in the afternoon. So I still got another hour to continue to fill. And we're using the pre-filters into the 5-gallon bucket, and the 5-gallon bucket goes into the warming tank back here. And then the warming is dripping in at a pretty constant rate. So we'll see how much I can get going. All right, it's 4 o'clock. We need to actually pull some of this sap off, and then we're gonna add some more. I also need to clean off the foam. But let me show you guys. So it's still pretty watery, and we could cook it a little bit longer, but because we're trying to race time, and what we can actually get done from pulling out the rest of the sap, or not rest, but more of the sap down from the holding tank, we're gonna pull some of this off and do a little bit more inside today than what we normally would do. so that we can actually work through enough of the sap so we don't have spoilage. Alright, so we're just about to finish the first 2 buckets that we pulled off from outside. We've got more sap still cooling off that had been boiling for a while. So I have these little mini hot sauce jars that work really great for showing the true color of the syrup. So I've got that. I've got the mason jars ready here. Move the lids out of the way. We're not canning these right now. We're just gonna bottle them and then or put them in mason jars for a bit, and then we're gonna go back and bottle them later. We've got the Brix scale here. So because we're doing the testing hot, we want it to be at least at this red line. We try to get as close to that as possible. If we're doing cold test, it would be down here. So here's one pot here. I've got a digital readout thermometer that's kind of just helping me know when to start testing. We're really close. Once we get to 217, it's kind of like by the second. And this is the other pot here. A little bigger pot. 215, 216, right on the edge there. So we'll continue to monitor these and then test it by putting the syrup, or almost syrup, into here, putting this in and seeing where the float, the top of the liquid is against this float line here. And then we also have filtration that once this is ready, we'll pour this back into the pot here, and then we'll actually move over to the sink and pour this whole bucket through 2 pre-filters. 2 of these pre-filters here sandwiched together, and then one of the wool filters here into this bowl here. It's got some rubber feet so the heat won't hurt the counter, and a nice little pour spout. And then this also has measurements. I think this is a Pampered Chef one. Has measurements 8 cups, 12 cups, etc. Which is kind of nice to have a guess of before we're pouring it into a mason jar of how much we actually need. So we have the 2 pre-filters and the wool filter. We got these from Bascom's up in New Hampshire. And we're probably about 4 cups right now in that bowl until the lines. You can kind of see them in the video. I don't know if you can really see them. I'm gonna go check on the other pot right now. We're at 57, just over 57 on this one. We just got done filtering our second bucket, which was a little bigger, and we're just under, if you can see that line, 12 cups here, which is crazy. And then what I did was I took the sample jar from last week and the sample jar from this week's batch, and they're really close. So not as dark this week as I thought it was going to be.